The animal that produces the most offspring in the world. The title of the animal that produces the most offspring at once depends on various factors, such as whether it gives birth to live young or lays eggs, lifespan, and whether it lives alone or in groups. There are millions of animal species on Earth, each with its own evolutionary reproductive strategy, suited to its specific needs. According to Kathleen Cole, an ichthyologist at the University of Hawaii at Manoa, the question of which species produces the most offspring per reproductive cycle is complex due to many factors influencing the situation, as reported by Live Science. Firstly, the title of the most prolific animal depends on how we define offspring. If we consider offspring based on the number of gametes, unfertilized eggs and sperm, produced at once, fish have a clear advantage. Releasing unfertilized eggs requires less energy than laying fertilized eggs, so animals that release unfertilized eggs and sperm into the water tend to produce more eggs than other species. The ocean sunfish, mola, can produce up to 300 million eggs in its womb each spawning cycle. However, since fertilization occurs outside the female's body, it's impossible to know how many of these eggs survive to become offspring. Once the female releases the eggs into the ocean, there's no way to track which ones belong to her and follow them through fertilization and development into young fish. Even though there is no official estimate of the sunfish population in the ocean, they are classified as vulnerable on the International Union for Conservation of Nature's Red List due to frequent bycatch by fishermen. Researchers consider them rare in the wild, meaning not all 300 million eggs turn into young sunfish. In terms of fertilized eggs laid in one go, insects may lead the pack. Some ant species, such as the African driver ant, Dorylus wilverthi, can lay 3 to 4 million eggs over about a month. The queen ant will selectively fertilize some eggs, depending on how many male and female offspring she wants. In the bird world, the gray partridge, Perdix, ranks among the top egg layers, producing up to 22 eggs per clutch. Regarding live births, male seahorses can give birth to up to 2,000 young at a time, which they incubate and nourish via an umbilical cord inside their pouch. Among land animals, the puff adder, Bitis areatans, holds the record for the most offspring. A female puff adder once gave birth to 156 fully developed young in a single pregnancy. They're like giant sausages that can hold a lot of offspring, said Alex Pyron, an evolutionary biologist at George Washington University in Washington, D.C. Why do these animals produce so many offspring, while elephants and whales usually only give birth to one offspring at a time? One of the factors influencing litter size is lifespan. Animals with short lifespans, which may not survive long enough to see their offspring grow, tend to have more young per litter. Animals like bats, which are lightweight for flying and carry their young in the air, typically only have one offspring at a time. Animals that care for their young after birth also tend to have fewer offspring, often because they need to invest more energy and resources in raising them. Species that give live birth generally have fewer offspring than egg-laying species, and social animals like the African driver ant can have more offspring due to the larger protection provided by their colonies compared to solitary species.